This is a Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland presentation on inspections of retail pharmacy businesses. This presentation will look at what pharmacists and pharmacy owners can expect when being inspected, what areas of pharmacy practice are typically reviewed at PSI inspections, and how to help you best prepare. So, what can you expect at a PSI inspection? Firstly, PSI authorised officers, which is the official title for inspectors, will ask to speak with the pharmacist upon entering the pharmacy and before they start the inspection. They will introduce themselves and present photo identification. The authorised officer will also carry their warrant with them. Their warrant is their authority to enter a pharmacy or premises, and you're entitled to ask to see the warrant should you so wish. After introducing themselves, the inspector will commence the inspection. Most pharmacists will choose to keep the pharmacy open, which means that patients and members of the public will also need to be attended to while the inspection is carried out. The authorised officer will make it clear that patients' needs are everyone's priority during the inspection, and so they'll be happy to wait to speak with the pharmacist or for records to be found on those occasions that the pharmacist is busy looking after patients. Typically, the inspection will last 2 to 3 hours, though they may on occasions be longer or shorter than this. So what will the inspectors actually be reviewing? Well, the inspectors can assess compliance over a wide range of legal instruments, such as the Pharmacy Act 2007 and the Section 18 regulations which are made under it. These regulations are called the Regulation of Retail Pharmacy Business Regulations 2008. A presentation on Section 18 is also available on the website. The inspectors can also assess compliance across other regulations, including the Medicinal Products Regulations, the Misuse of Drugs Regulations, and the Animal Remedies Regulations, as well as any guidelines issued by the PSI itself. Links to the legislation and guidelines are available on the PSI website www.thepsi.ie. In a typical inspection, a number of key areas are reviewed. For example, the inspector will check to see that the pharmacy premises is clean and well maintained. This includes all areas of the pharmacy, including any storerooms, toilets, dispensary, and the public pharmacy area. They will also look at the layout of the pharmacy to ensure that it facilitates the pharmacist in supervising the sale and supply of medicines at all times, and that access to pharmacy-only medicines is restricted from the public. They will also check to see that the pharmacy has a patient consultation area which meets the requirements of the PSI guidelines, in that it must provide visual and aural privacy for patients, be separate and designated for patient consultations only, be conveniently located within the pharmacy, and be wheelchair accessible. The inspector will also check that there are documented procedures on how the consultation area is to be used. The inspector will also spend time reviewing record-keeping practices at the pharmacy. They will look at records such as the duty register to make sure that a record is maintained of each pharmacist or pharmacist present at the pharmacy each day it is open, and that the supervising pharmacist attends at the pharmacy for a significant proportion of the opening hours. The CD register may also be reviewed to ensure that all fields in the register are completed for each sale and supply of controlled drug to and from the pharmacy, and that a running stock balance is maintained. The daily dispensing report or daily order reports might also be reviewed to ensure that they are printed and signed and dated by the pharmacist each day, or where the record is maintained as a book, that this book is up to date and records all the required details. You may also be asked to provide prescriptions for a selection of medicines dispensed from the pharmacy, and the balance of a selection of controlled drugs in the CD register will be checked against the contents in the controlled drug safe. The inspector will also check that there are documented procedures for activities at the pharmacy and evidence that these procedures are regularly reviewed, updated and trained to staff. It is important that these procedures are clear, describing activities in a step-by-step manner and reflective of practices at the pharmacy. The inspector will also look at storage conditions for medicines at the pharmacy. This will include that the pharmacy has a certified controlled drug safe which is bolted to the floor or wall, that storerooms are well maintained, secure and maximum minimum temperature monitoring and logging of these areas is in place, that the pharmacy fridge is clean, no food other than medicinal products are stored in the fridge, and that maximum minimum temperatures are checked and logged daily. And where veterinary medicinal products are kept at the pharmacy, the inspector will look to see that these are kept in a designated area separate from human products, and where fridge-line veterinary medicines are kept at the pharmacy, that these are stored in a separate and designated pharmaceutical-grade fridge that is temperature monitored. Other areas which are typically reviewed at inspection include that the certificates of registration of the supervising pharmacist and for the pharmacy are displayed prominently, that clinical and confidential waste management procedures are in place, that access to reference materials are provided at the pharmacy, and where the pharmacy provides additional services such as the provision of pharmacy services to patients in residential care facilities or the sale and supply of veterinary medicinal products, the authorised officer will check that legislative and practice guidance is met in that area. The inspection enforcement team at the PSI are aware that many pharmacists and pharmacy owners are nervous about the inspection process. To help you to prepare for inspection, a short guide to inspections and inspection checklist is provided on the PSI website. This checklist is very useful and can be used as a self-audit tool at your pharmacy. You should also look out for the inspectors' bulletins, which are published as part of the PSI newsletters. These are helpful in identifying common pitfalls and explaining legislative requirements to help you review your practices. All guidance and legislation referred to in this presentation are available on the PSI website. These will be helpful in your preparation too. If you have a specific query in relation to the inspection process, please email the PSI on info@thepsi.ie.